Hello and welcome. I have Jacob here. Welcome, Jacob. Jacob is an ICU nurse. And Jacob, go ahead and share a little bit about your ICU background and where do you currently work?
Yeah, so I'm from the Midwest, around Kentucky area. I've been a nurse now 6.5 years. I started when I was 20 years old with a 2-year program, so I started right into level 1. I did burn trauma, but my burn became a mixed unit of like every specialty, so bone marrow transplant, MICU, SICU, neuro. Got to get a good experience of it. And then after that, COVID hit. About 2021, I started travel nursing. Did a year at a hospital in Terre Haute, and did a year at Indianapolis at level 1. And now I came back home. I work at a stroke comprehensive center and do a little bit more neuro stuff and still general MICU. And also took a weekend position. So I'm a nurse on the weekend and a dad of the weekdays.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. So James going to share a little bit more about how he has kind of tackled the challenge of starting new in the ICU. So the first question I would have would be, what would you say would be the steepest learning curve you had in the ICU and what helped you gain the confidence in your skills?
Yeah, so for me particularly, I went to burn. But what sucked was I wasn't a tech before I was a nurse. So I had to learn the ICU skills, the tech skills, and also the burn dressing skills. And it was a lot of information. And what I really did is that I felt like I sucked. So we would get float nurses all the time. I would do all the dressing changes. I would go in all the rooms. I never thought I was better than anybody. My techs, I would take so much information from my techs. I had some really experienced techs. They taught me more than some of the nurses. And I was able to really learn just that key positioning and details that made me really good. I felt like I was terrible in the beginning of my burn days. By the end, I was getting asked to take over patient care all the time. My doctors to specifically do a sedation situation for a patient.
That's amazing. I got goosebumps when you shared that because what struck me is that you not only sought out experience, meaning offering help to other nurses, but you also sought out people who you knew could have more knowledge in that skill set, even if they were quote unquote not a nurse, even though
I am not above anybody. My tech had more experience than any ICU nurse. That was the person I wanted to go to because they may not have the credentials, but they knew what actually needed to be done.
That's an amazing takeaway. Thank you. I would also love to know what resources, mentors, or strategies helped you transition successfully into the ICU environment.
So resources that I used a lot, shout out Ninja Nerd, Ninja Alert, made a lot of things simple to understand. And also, on the day shift side, I was a night shifter originally. There were some day shift nurses that were older. Look for those nurses. They're so rare. When you get nurses that come back to your hospital and they have experience, interrogate them. Hospitals are not set in stone. It's not like you think in nursing school, evidence-based practice, everywhere does the same thing. It's totally different everywhere. And that blew my mind because the way you do things and what you're being taught may not be the best. So be receptive to anybody that has experience coming into your area to learn something new.
That's really great advice. And uniquely, even in the realm of anesthesia, what I love about working with students is because I pick up new things from them because they pick up things from CRNAs they work with that I don't get to work with in the operating room. It's a learning experience for me too. I love that.
Oh yeah, oral care. Some places did it Q2 hours, some places did it Q4 hours. Some people did breaks. Some places I worked at, you didn't get a break at all. You made a nurse's station. I had a 30-minute lunch in some areas, and I had an hour lunch before.
Wow. So it really lets you see, what do you like, what do you don't like, and how are you going to adapt your own practice?
So, now I'm bringing all that information back to my hospital I'm at now, in my home hospital, to hopefully combine and, mesh it all into, a good gumbo of good practice, right?
Gumbo, I love it.
Yeah.
New Orleans, of course. All right, so the last question I have here, ICU related, is how do you continue to grow and stay resilient in the fast-paced, high-pressure ICU setting?
Yeah, so when I continue to grow, I'm still looking at new things. I'm still teaching. I think teaching is the best way to stay up to date. When I started travel nursing, I didn't take as many nursing orientees. I took more nursing students, and I felt like I knew I was giving best practice, but sometimes I couldn't give the verbiage. I couldn't talk out the path. And when I came back, I really hit hard on teaching everybody. And even if I'm not precepting somebody, I'm still teaching a coworker something, or I'm learning from them. And by just doing that back and forth, you're constantly keeping your mind sharp on those practices and being able to talk about it. And then as far as staying resilient, I'll be honest with you, it's a hard job. It's still something I work on every day. I had really severe PTSD from my burn days, and then COVID hit. And it's okay to say that you have a problem. I went to a psychiatry because I was like, I can't remember my numbers, like to do all my I's and O's and stuff. And he's like, I have like ADHD. I need to like help with that. And I'm like, I do, but you have PTSD, and that's the issues that you're having. So I actually did PTSD therapy. I looked out for medical therapy. So I took care of a therapist that took care of first responders, nurses, doctors that understood a little bit more. And I did EMDR. I did 9 months of that for like 2 times a week, and I don't go in the mall. I can still sleep at night now. It really gave me the tools to keep going and also be stronger.
It's amazing. Key takeaways is teaching's a great way of learning, and seek out support. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and get professional guidance.
Yeah.
Love it. And then to kind of wrap this up, tell me about how you would handle a difficult colleague or coworker, maybe a situation where you either just had a disagreement or miscommunication. How would you handle something like that?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is that choosing the right time for it is one thing. If you can, if it's in the moment you can't, you got to embarrass them, that's okay. It's safety. Safety is number one thing. But try to have a conversation where you're on an equal playing field and you're not having a big watch of other people. It should be mediated, but people don't want the other business. And if you can keep that secret and you know that you can have a conversation and it stays confident between that person, you get that trust, and then you don't have those issues as often later on.
Wow. That was a very highly emotional, intelligent response. I just want to kudos to you on that.
Yeah.
And that's a CRNA interview question. So you rocked it. You really nailed it. High five. You did awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, really impressed. A lot of growth mindset. Yeah, let's talk about your low GPA. So if you're, does your unit already know? Because it's going on social media.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm not going to
No, they all know.
spoil the surprise. Okay. We're going to actually take some time and we're going to talk about how Jacob got into CRNA school. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to share what you felt like your biggest struggle was with getting into CRNA school.
Yeah, so hands down, my GPA. When I did my nursing cast GPA, looking at it, 3.0 even. And I had a really hard undergrad. I started nursing school when I was 18. I had a kid when I was 19. 3 people died. My aunt died in-home hospice for 6 weeks. I was taking care of her. I worked. My school flooded. It was 3 stories underwater, so I didn't even go to my school for like a third of my time. And a lot of my friends actually dropped back. And it was a rapid-paced school. Like, I never had more than a week off. So, like for me, March 9th, my daughter was born. March 10th, my aunt died. And I was back in school March 12th. And it really affected my GPA. And what I found out is that when you finish everything else up, you can't really retake maternity and peds. You can't retake foundations. And I used to research all this stuff on Reddit, and it was terrible. I was like, I have a really low GPA. People are like, don't even try to apply. Well, I said, screw that. I'm just going to do some other things. So one thing is that I looked and I saw what the requirements were for schools. I tripled it. So if I needed 20 hours of shadowing, I got 6 hours. And I also make connections. One thing I saw that like people talk about a lot is that you want to like cast a wide net. But what I really wanted to do, I poured heavily into one school. So I did get rejected twice from 2 schools. Didn't get an interview or nothing. But the school that I did get into, I went to 2 of their open houses. I shadowed with some of their SRNAs, and I kept up with friends that got into the school. So I was shocked that I got an interview for that part because I was still just so worried about the GPA aspect of it. But by the time I showed up there, the front desk person knew my name already. They already knew who I was. And it also, it took every opportunity to shadow and interview and talk to people as a mini interview. Like when I shadowed CRNAs, I was making connections to go to a different hospital. At the same time, I'm asking them like clinical questions and seeing if my brain processing, how I'm thinking through things is on the right track. So he's has a good back and forth. But it's just that GPA. And it took me, I knew I wanted to be a CRNA 4.5 years ago. I took care of a kid on my burn unit that really affected me. And my wife sat down with me about 1.5 years ago, and she's like, I think we're in a good spot now that you could go back to this. So I was like, I'm gonna be really busy. So I had to like take HNET credits to finish my BSN. and then start all the nursing cast application, which, by the way, start early. Nursing cast sucks. It is a lot to do. And yeah, from there, I just kept on just working at it.
Did you take any extra courses or anything like that?
Yeah, so I did take one extra course, but I wasn't even finished with it when I applied to the school I got into. But I emailed them. So nursing cast, one thing is nursing cast won't let you have like three references, letters of reference, or shadowing hours. I just emailed my school. This is my extra ones I have. These are other people that are really rooting for me to go in. And here's their letters of reference. And also, here's my GPA. Here's my grade in my class right now. So I kept them up to date of what I'm doing on top of my application. So I added into it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. And I would love to hear your experience with CSPA.
Yeah. So your 5-day interview challenge, fantastic. Absolutely love it. As well as using a TeachRN, 100% using mock interview, because they put stuff into perspective you wouldn't even think about. Like for me, I took some of the questions for emotional intelligence as like I was precepting. So one thing was, walk in a patient's room, you hear the ventilator going off or whatever. What's the first thing you're going to do? I said, I'm going to silence the alarm because I want my nursing student or youngin to think out what's going on and not get that scary, oh gosh, everything's going off, what's going to happen. But in anesthesia world, that never stops. That's cues that you use to know what's going on with the operation and your patient, which I never thought about. It made it look like I could have been anxious about that. So that mock interview really helped me put things in perspective. But no, I would constantly, instead of listening to music, just start listening to lectures. You'll find little like tidbits of just like little pearls of wisdom in each little lecture, even if like you reheard it a couple times. That really help just change perspective or do extra things. So watchful care, nurse anesthesia history. That was one thing I learned that really helped with the politics side, because if you're just bedside ICU, there is no politics to it. There's a massive difference in practice when it comes to anesthesia to ICU. And the more you can get exposed to people that are working in it or using CSPA, the more you can be prepared for when you have interviews, or that you really want this. This is what you want to do.
Awesome. I love that. What would you say to someone who's like on the fence about joining CSPA?
I use multiple different companies. I'll be honest with you, I view CRNA school as an investment, and I spent a lot of money. And to save yourself money, CSPA gives you the most diverse resources and an easy way to stay, and it keeps you connected. And it's an easy way to stay connected. Questions of the day every day, just for the fact of you just looking at the email or responding to the answer, it gets you looking at that and getting you just eyes on resources. And you also just have the ability the AI helps a lot. Key point to also ask your instructors about, or your panel board. They love talking about AI stuff right now. They're big into it. But you just have so much of a diverse range of sources, and it's staying up to date. Like I did some things that looked like I was looking at a 2003 website, or things that were just kind of like falling behind, like they weren't seen as updates as you all do.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, Jacob, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everyone. And so excited for your future.
Yeah. So all the posts you see on the community of like have a 3.65 or have a 3.8 GPA. You're okay. I got 3.0 and I still made it.
Exactly. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.